What up, bros?
What up, bros?
I'm here with the biggest bro of them all.
I'm so broy.
David Ariew. He just finished his presentation, and all I got to say is space, space, space. So, I took copious notes.
Oh, good.
Not copious, but I took some notes.
That's awesome.
We had to pull you away from your schmoopy groupies in order to get you over here.
And the actual schmoopy.
To get you over here to get an interview because you're so famous now.
So famous? No, I'm not famous.
I really liked your. I liked the angle of your talk.
Cool.
The digital DP stuff.
Totally.
I think you and we were doing an episode like Matt was out of town or something one time, and we kind of started to have this conversation about being a digital DP, and so I really like that you've done a whole presentation on it.
Totally.
Your second talk is tomorrow. Is that true?
No, I don't have a second.
I thought you had a second talk.
No.
Oh, somebody had a second talk. I thought you had two for some reason.
I wish I could redo that talk without the anxiety tag at the beginning, but I'm good.
Okay, so Beeple had a second talk.
Yes.
Has a second
got
talk.
Two, and Jeremy Cox has two, though weirdly it looks like Jeremy's are the same, but twice. I don't get it. But yeah, Beeple has two different actual talks with different content.
Okay, so I thought you had another one. So you're super relieved now because you're done.
Relieved. I'm done, yeah.
Okay, awesome.
These moments are some of the most anxiety-inducing of my life, but they're also awesome.
And now you can just go have a drink and relax.
Now I can drink and eat and just party. That's it's why do I do this to myself? It's because I like you guys and I just want to hang out and party, but then I have to do this stupid talk.
So we've gone off on a tangent just like we do on the show. So let's talk about motion graphics a little bit.
Motion graphics.
So let me pull my notes back out here. So the whole digital DP thing.
Yes.
I wanted to talk about that. You got into lighting, which is really cool, and you also got into camera moves.
Yeah.
And if you watch a lot of stuff online when people are first starting out doing camera moves in Cinema 4D, especially if they don't have a background in anything video, maybe if they come from some sort of a print graphics background, their camera moves can be pretty bad.
Yeah.
So I like that you've gotten into camera moves.
Yeah, I see a lot of people on Instagram that have beautiful looking scenes, and the second they go to animate it, it's camera move starts and stops. Or just something really weird, or does some weird jiggle, or I don't know, it just doesn't often look cinematic. They're able to design a cinematic scene, even light it nicely, it's weird to me. And then when they go to do the motion, there's a really big gap in knowledge there. So I'm hoping to kind of fill that gap a little bit.
The linear keys is one of those things. Doing linear keys so that your shot doesn't start and stop within the shot. It just looks like it was a continuous camera motion that had already started before the cut.
Totally.
I had a question for you because you were talking about the stage object.
Yep.
And most people don't know about stage objects, so tell everybody about that a little bit.
The stage object is a little weird object from ye olden times in Cinema 4D that lets you cut between two cameras within the context of the same shot, so you don't have to render out necessarily a hardware render pass and bring it into Premiere and do the edit there. It's a much quicker turnaround to be able to check continuity of two different, tight to wide or, pushing to pulling, just the edit point. Check how your edits are working within the same scene.
Do you use the stage object in the actual render?
No, I don't, actually. Not for a single scene in that music video, but it's really useful for demoing in this case. I
was just curious because I was going to ask you something weird that happens in Octane whenever you use the stage object and motion blur at the same time.
The first frame that's always true with, I didn't know that's true with the stage object, but that makes sense that often the first frame has no motion blur in Octane. It's a weird glitch that I don't get. But
it's the opposite. You get a crazy motion blur.
Streak? Weird. I haven't seen that because I haven't actually done that.
It's because it thinks the camera is going from over here to way over here all of a sudden.
Oh, that makes total sense. That's so crazy. Octane's too smart for its own good. What?
Matt's just shaking his head.
I forget what I was going to say about that. Oh, yeah, so I like to render a single scene. It's good for checking continuity, but I like to render individual shots with handles a lot of the time so that I have a little bit of room in the edit to play, and so it's not super locked,
I also like that you talked about the, what is it called? The track before and after, which I have seen a million times, and I've never really clicked on it to see what it does.
No way.
And I'm like, oh, well, that's
Seriously?
nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's track before and after. which just extends whatever interpolation you've got going. I wish this existed in After Effects, because what I'll do in After Effects is I'll have a linear 2 keyframes, and then I want to extend a shot, right? And then I have to like drag the keyframe up and match the angle of the previous 2, and then delete the middle keyframe. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in this case, it just creates this infinite, extension of your keyframe, and you can just drag your keyframes anywhere, and you'll see it continue, whether it's a rotation or a position keyframe, anything. There's also an oscillate before and after that'll let you just continuously like loop animation.
I've used that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that could have saved me a lot of time if I would have known about that.
Yeah, totally.
Fog in Octane is something that's really hard to master, and it seems like you have spent the hard work and time trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Have you done a tutorial on that yet?
Yes, I have.
Okay. I need to watch all of your tutorials then.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, the Future Cities tutorial has a long segment on volumetrics, creating clouds, and then also creating the fog, and showing you how you can even combine those 2 systems into one to create like fog plus clouds. Yeah.
But just don't combine 2 VDBs together.
Yeah, don't mash 2 VDBs together, because then they get this bizarre artifacting that pisses me off.
And the world will explode.
Yeah, your computer's going to explode.
And Ahmed will be mad at you.
And Ahmed will come down from Turkey and punch you in the face.
Oh, man. Okay, so can you talk about what you are working on now and in the future this year?
Right now I just finished up a weird fluid sim project that was all these X particles, bubbles, and fruit splashing, and that was really fun to get my head around, though I hate doing those intense sims. The caching takes forever, but the look was cool ultimately. I'm currently this month focused on moving my ass from Charlottesville to San Diego.
As well as the rest of your body.
Rest of my body too, my stuff, not really my stuff actually. I'm just going to sell everything and clear the slate. But I'm teaching 2 VFX classes, and I'm going to integrate VR. So this is to kids in Charlottesville. It's going to be really fun. Element 3D, and then one on Cinema 4D, like light. And then I'm also doing the intro to Katy Perry. I can't really talk much more about that, but it involves more space, and Mitch Meyer's VDB packs and his planet pack, and I'm creating planets and nebulae and satellites and stuff. So I'm creating some fun stuff there. And
you're working with?
I'm working with Frédéric Duquette of Favok Render. Yeah, I love that guy. And then, though we're kind of working a little bit more independently, but yeah, so there might be more crossover there. But so there's that, and then I'm also doing this music video for this dude that I've worked for before that involves like viral fluid sims, like crawling over people's bodies and all this weirdness. But I've got too much going on right now, and I need to like pass off one of these projects or get one of my friends to, But you guys are booked, so.
Maybe in October. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. The deadline's before that, but
Dang.
We'll work together. We'll work together soon. Yeah.
Cool. Now, if people want to find you online, where can they find you?
At David Ariew, or you can go to arievvisuals.com, which is ARIEVVISUALS.com.
And you're also on your tutorials on Eyedesyn.
Yeah, all my tutorials are on Eyedesyn. I'm going to keep pumping those out. The next one's going to be on more Octane scatter and recreating that kind of look that Chris Schmidt did a while back, those topographic maps with the little cubes. But creating that with some extra displacement, or showing how you can get this interesting sliced look. But that just breaks down how you can do it in Octane with like way more settings in Octane scatter, like driving all of the scatter based on textures, and also creating multiple instances to create interesting strips of color in there, random color shader, stuff like that. And also how you can use that same technique to create like a forest like Joseph Bishara that kind of like scales down towards the center with like a radial gradient. So I've got some ideas there. I also want to do tutorials on like light tunnels, on all sorts of crazy shit. Yeah.
Cool. Well, and you can also be heard sometimes on the Brograph podcast.
Just sometimes. Yeah, just once in a while. I think I've been on like 20 of them.
Those jerks.
Those jerks.
So I think that about wraps it up. We're coming to you from the show floor at Siggraph 2017. David, thank you so much, and we'll see you for beers later.
Awesome. Sounds great. I can't wait.